on YouTube? So coming back today with my next top 10, and I said yesterday that I would kind of play off the last top 10 I did with my top 10 most hated NFL teams, and I still have college basketball, NHL and MLB that I have not done yet. I've done the NBA, NFL, and then college football so far. So today I'm going to do the MLB, and this one's easy to do at the top and not so easy at the bottom. So let's go ahead and start with number 10. At number 10, I've got the Cincinnati Reds. Like I said, there was a couple ways I could have gone with this one that I was thinking. White Sox were one that came to mind, maybe the Tigers. But the Reds are a team that's not commonly liked in the NL Central. The NL Central is a pretty rivalry-heavy division. And, I mean, obviously most divisions are pretty rivalry-heavy, but this one I think more than most. Just because you got the Cubs, Cardinals, you got the Pirates, Cubs, you've got the Pirates, Cardinals, Pirates, Reds. And like I said, there's just a lot of rivalries in that division, and the Reds are at the center of a lot of those. So, a team that's not been very good of recent, but when they are, it's a team that is a little bit annoying. To get beat by, I don't really know, because I've never been a fan of a team that was like in a big series with the Reds in recent memory, but yeah, I guess it's just kind of the aura of getting beat by a team like the Reds. At number 9, I've got the San Francisco Giants, and this one's a little bit easy to understand. The fans are a little bit annoying. I know from experience, I'm a Diamondbacks fan, so same division. They got a nice little division rivalry there. They're not as bad as the Dodgers, but the Giants are a team that have kind of formed a little dynasty over the last 5 years, winning, 3 World Series? Yeah, something like that. And I believe 2010, 2012, and then 2014. And a lot of those years, they did not seem like the favorites coming in. It seemed like they kind of came out of nowhere, won the World Series, and I'm guessing Rangers fans got a little bit pissed off by that, and just fans in baseball in general, just, again, winning consistently, I wouldn't say pisses a lot of people off, but puts the target on your back, makes you a pretty known team, and that's what's happened with the Giants. So at number 8, I've got the Washington Nationals, and I think this is kind of like the Bulls. If you guys watched my top 10 most hated NBA teams yesterday, then I said that the Bulls were just kind of hated because of the failed expectations, and then the expectations that are just brought in every single season. People get tired of hearing it. It's kind of like Tennessee in football. It's, like I said, it's a lot like the Chicago Bulls in basketball. Let me slide over right quick. But in the middle of my explanation about the Nationals, but like I said, a team that's kind of gone through some failed expectations. People that are probably tired of hearing about the expectations and how good they're supposed to be every single year and how good they end up not being every single year. A team that's had World Series hype the last couple of years and really just has never met it. So at number 7, I've got the LA Angels, and it's just a California team. LA teams tend to get a lot of hate just because of the fans and just because of the fact that it's LA. They're rivals with a lot of teams in the AL West, notably the Rangers, Mariners. I think those are the two biggest rivals they got. It can get the series can be pretty good when they do the inter-city rivalry between the Angels and the Dodgers as well. So at number 6, I've got the New York Mets, and kind of the same thing as the Angels. It's a New York team, especially with the Mets doing better now. It brings more attention to them, which brings out a lot of the old rivalries. There's a lot of good rivalries in the NL East also, some that have kind of died off with some of the normal NL East powers in the mid to late 2000s, experienced a little bit of mediocrity, teams like the Phillies and the Braves, and two teams that are kind of rebuilding right now. But the Mets obviously got a good little, the Subway Series, a little series between them and the Yankees, and then also, obviously with the Phillies, Braves, the Mets-Braves has been a pretty good one over the years, and like I said, a Mets team that has high expectations after making the World Series last year, and like I said, just kind of bringing them back into the spotlight. So at number 5, I've got the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cardinals are just a consistent franchise, one that a lot of people, specifically in the state of Missouri, don't like. It's just a team that's very loved and hated in the central part of the country. It goes back to that same subject, where a lot of the most loved teams are also a lot of the most hated teams in the United States. And the Cardinals kind of fit that billing. They've been incredibly successful over the last 10 years, and that motto of consistency, like I said, also brings them to the spotlight, and they're at the center of a lot of rivalries. Royals, Cubs for sure. Just a lot of them in the NL Central. The Reds, Pirates, Cardinals, Pirates has been a pretty good one of recent also. So at number 4, I've got the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs were one of those teams in the MLB that just kind of got tired of making fun of them. If I'm honest, like it was kind of like the Jets and Browns in football, where they just screwed up so much that you just kind of started feeling it wasn't even like talking shit anymore. It's just kind of like feeling bad for them. But obviously they've been doing something right with their farm system, having one of the best farm systems in baseball over the last couple of years, bringing up so much young talent last year. Schwarber, Soler, Russell, obviously Chris Bryant, Jake Arrieta winning the Cy Young. It's a team that's looking extremely good for this year, and I believe the World Series favorites. And again, like a lot of these teams on this list, thrust them into the spotlight, and you're going to get a lot of attention, a lot of good attention, a lot of bad attention, and again, on the other end of that Cubs-Cardinals rivalry, which is one of the biggest in baseball. And when you're at obviously when you're at the spearhead of a lot of rivalries, White Sox, Cardinals, Pirates, Reds, you're going to be a team that's not looked highly upon by other teams' fans. So at number 3, I've got the LA Dodgers, and I can attest to this. The team's kind of annoying. They did give Zach Greinke to us. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm a huge Diamondbacks fan, and with them, kind of pissing our pool a couple years ago, that was a kind of a talked about thing this offseason, that us taking Greinke from them was karma for them pissing at our pool. When they won the division, I believe it was back in 2013, I think it was 2013. It was either 2013 or 2014. And the fans are a little bit annoying. It seems like kind of a little bit of a bandwagon fan base again, kind of back to the whole LA thing. They're extremely successful now. I wouldn't say Magic Johnson's a hateable person at all, kind of the opposite. So that's one reason to like the team, but you look at a lot of the players on that team too. Clayton Kershaw, I wouldn't say is a hateable guy, but some of the other players, most notably Yasiel Puig, just not a likable dude by a lot of people, and is again one of those guys where everyone's got an opinion on him, a flashy guy, and it seems like it's kind of caught on with the Dodgers of late. Used to be when they had Hanley Ramirez on the team, it was the same way. He's moved on to the Red Sox now, so obviously doesn't have too much an effect on the team anymore, but like I said, it's just kind of that type of player that you associate with the Dodgers. So at number 2, I think it's pretty obvious who I've got at number 2 and number 1 at this point, but number 2, I've got the Boston Red Sox, a team that, is at the center of Red Sox Yankees. It's a team that's a rival for every team in the AL East, and it's a team that every team in the AL East likes to beat. This has been a wildly inconsistent team over the last 5 years, shuffling between winning the World Series and finishing last place in the division, and you just don't really know how they're going to finish each year now. It's a team that's always been loaded with talent, and it's a team that has high expectations coming into this year. Obviously, with the acquisition of David Price, should help out. But, like I said, this is a team that is hard to tell what they're going to do every year. Again, some flashier players over the years. I mean, you go back in the day to the mid-2000s, you got Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz following through all those years. I'm one that actually likes David Ortiz. I think it's kind of hard to hate that guy, but a lot of people do. Again, it goes back to the flashy style of player, and they've got actually quite a few of those. Like I said, it's just a team that when you've got maybe the biggest fan base in baseball, like the Yankees, that have a blood rivalry against you, you're going to be on this top 10 list for sure. So at number 1, obviously, I've got them one of the most hated teams in America, and not just in baseball, just in general for sports. And that's the New York Yankees. I've got a laundry list of why I don't like the Yankees. For one, I just grew up hating the pinstripes. I'm a Rays fan also, so there's a little interdivision rivalry there, and that's one reason alone. But I'm one for that. I've always been a believer that there should be a flat salary cap in the MLB. I know that's a mixed opinion, but I don't think you should be able to buy. Common joke for people that hate the Yankees fans, and I'm assuming most fans know this, but I don't think you should be one that you could be able to buy the pennant. I think it's really annoying to have to hear every offseason about, oh, they can finally move on from a couple huge aging stars that they gave enormous salaries to, and then they ended up flatlining while they were with the Yankees, and watching them have to dump off those guys, ending their careers, and then moving on to the next aging star. It happens all the time with Yankees. Seems like since I've been alive. Right now, current examples, Carlos Beltran, Mark Teixeira, probably the biggest ones. A-Rod for sure. I mean, A-Rod's had definitely an up and down tenure with the Yankees, but I think one of the most unlikable guys in baseball. Masahiro Tanaka looks like he could end up having a short-lived career with the Yankees. Pineda looks like he's not going to be doing so hot with them either. See what happens with Aroldis Chapman. It's not been a good start for him so far. Obviously not an aging star yet, still one of the younger closers in baseball, but already looking at a 30-day suspension. Not by any fault of the Yankees, but still, it's like I said, it's a reoccurring thing. And like I said, Derek Jeter's gone, and that was probably the most likable part of the Yankees. So another reason to hate the Yankees. Now, that concludes my list of the top 10 most hated teams in Major League Baseball. So that leaves, honestly, I'll probably do college basketball next, since that's the sport that's right in its prime right now. Talking about tournament time, its most exciting time right now, going through some of the conference tournaments. And a really good time to talk about stuff like that. Duke UNC just ended. Kansas just ended another Big 12 regular season championship, so hot time to talk about that. So if you've not seen my last two videos yet, which are extremely related to this one, it was top 10 most hated NFL and NBA teams. Those will be in the outro. I'm also going to put the link to the entire playlist of the top 10 playlist in the description below, as always. And like I said, I'll try to finish out these next two videos and kind of this little mini series of most hated teams, and then probably continue one that I've done a little bit, which is the top 10 best fan bases or biggest fan bases. I did that one for the NFL. I think that was actually the first video in this series. And then I'll try to move on to the rest of the sports. I've already done college football, but that wasn't really part of the top 10 series that I've been doing right now. So anyway, I'll digress out of that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, my next top 10. Yesterday I did not do a top 10, but today I wanted to get back into it. And you guys have noticed one of the things I like to continue with my top 10 is if there's something that worked pretty well for one of my top 10s, then I like to kind of play off of it. And one video that I like doing was the top 10 most hated college football teams. And